what's going on, everybody? Movie Phantom here. Of course, I am joined by my lovely girlfriend, Maya. I'm not gonna lie, it's pretty early. We're doing an early video. We got a busy weekend this weekend, so yeah, we're up at the butt cracking on. Well, it's not really butt cracking on, but it's fucking close enough, so. Alright, so here we are. It's review day. We've got two movies for you. First, we got The Others. Boom. And then the other one, see if I can do this without butchering it too bad. Pensione Paura. Pensione Paura. Yeah, that's the, I think the English translation is like Horror Hotel. I like Pensione Paura better, so we're going to call it that. So, boom, there we go. Now let's start off with The Others, where Nicole Kidman and her two kids live in this big mansion, and they think it may be haunted. Sweetie, your review.
Okay. Let's see. Okay, the kids, they can't be any under the sun or the...
Yeah, they have the allergic reaction to the sun.
When was this made? Is there...
We just watched this last night. If I shoot to bed after she watched it.
I could tell. Let's see. When else was made?
2001.
Okay, a spoiler. Okay.
Oh yeah, no, spoil the hell out of it.
Okay.
Yeah, spoiler alert on both movies actually, because the other one's like 1977 or something.
These people, they're kind of like their nannies and stuff, and they
caretakers and
take
stuff.
caretakers.
Yeah.
And at the like they're like they can see them because they didn't know they're a ghost. Yeah.
That's right. That's the big twist at the end.
And at the end, they find out that they're a ghost.
Yeah. Bit of a Sixth Sense kind of thing going on there.
And their father's out in war, but he dies no more.
That he did. So what did you think about this movie?
I liked it.
You liked it?
All right. 5 out of 10.
5 out of 10. Yeah, okay. I can see that.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to add?
Nope.
Insightful as always, sweetie. The Others. I remember watching this when it came out. Actually, I went to the theaters and watched this. Way back when I was in high school. And this came out during a time when like every supernatural movie had a twist to it. Like every fucking movie had a twist. Like everything. Like Sixth Sense came out and then they're like, we're all going crazy. I have always liked this film. I have thought this movie has always been good. I love the atmosphere. It definitely has this gothic horror feel to it. And I mean, I don't know, some people may say they saw it coming my way. I did not see the ending coming. Like, I mean, first time I watched it, I mean, why would I, you know? And at the time, I thought it was brilliant. Like, you know, at the time, I'd never seen anything quite like that. I mean, you know, Sixth Sense kind of did that. It wasn't like he was in the world of the dead or whatever. Like, he was, you know, it was just like he was dead, he just didn't know it. But he was still interacting with the living, sort of. I mean, you know. Whereas this one, it's like everybody in the house is fucking dead. It's like they, instead of like the Sixth Sense, where like I said, he can see everybody who's still alive. They're not really interacting with him. He don't really, you know, you don't really think about it. He can still see him. Whereas in this movie, the reason why you think through the whole movie that, you know, they're being haunted is because they can't really see the world of the living. At least the kids can, but they can't. You know, the mom can't. And so that's kind of the big, you know, thing there.
The girl did, but the boy didn't.
Well, the boy did, but he was, yeah, he was just really scared. Remember Victor touched him on the face?
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, no, so like I said, and so in this one, you know, the reason why, you know, she can't see him is because she is dead, but, you know, they're living, but then, of course, you know, to her, you know, they're haunting her. Yeah, I thought it was really good. I'm a big fan of this movie. Like I said, the atmosphere is very creepy. And I remember, like, the one scene that really scared the shit out of me when I watched it. Now, once again, I mean, we're talking, you know, 2001, so I was... How old was I? Christ. I was a junior in high school, or no, sorry, sophomore in high school. So 15, 16, 17, something like that, around that age. Anyways, was the scene where there's two little kids, they go hiding upstairs in the, you know, the closet. Because at this point, you don't know they're dead yet. So you see the caretaker, which at this point you know they're dead. They show up and everything. And of course, the mother's like, get upstairs now. They can hear this woman talking. Like, you just hear and the whole time, you've heard about this old woman. That, one of the ghosts is the old woman. And, there's a scene where they're both in the closet and they're both breathing. Or you hear breathing. And they each think it's each other. And they're like, it's not me. And by the time, there's a quick cut to, like, this old woman's face. And just, I don't know, dude. Scared the shit out of me as a kid. Like, now it's not so bad. But I remember, like, when I was in high school, dude. I jumped out of the theater seat. I ain't gonna lie. Another thing I really like about this, and I'm not sure how true it is. I've seen photos on the internet, but you know how it is. You see something on the internet, you can't really believe it. But the pictures of the dead, how people would take pictures of their loved ones dressed up, and sitting in chairs and shit, dead.
Sleep.
Yeah. Well, I mean, no, they were dead. So they were.
Their eyes were closed, like they're sleeping.
Oh yeah, I mean, it looks like they were asleep. That's what she thought, but no, they were dead. And that has always fascinated the shit out of me too. Like, I was always just huge on that. So I don't know. I always feel like I'd like to stumble across like a photo album like that, a Book of the Dead, if you will. Not the Necronomicon, but a dead photo album. So yeah, I don't really know what else to say about this. This is one of those that I'm sure you guys have all seen it. I don't even know where to begin on it. There is one thing that bugged me about it. I will say this. Because now the twist is already out in the open. We all know that, Nicole Kidman and her kids are dead. The caretakers are dead. At one point she tries to leave her home, right? And when she's leaving, because, this is post-World War II. And they've yet, their father and her husband have yet to return. So as she tries to leave one day, of course, the fog gets ridiculously, insane, which I don't know why she didn't just keep going straight, because it looks like she's on a straightaway anyway, but she's just like, I'm getting lost in this fog. Her husband comes back. Now, of course, now you've already seen it, you know that he's clearly dead too. And I get the sense that, like, maybe at first he didn't think about it, but then just as it dawns on him, like, not only is he dead, her and the kids are dead too, and it upsets him. Because the thing, I guess we should touch on that for a second, she fucking smothers, like, the fucking kids, and then turns a gun on herself and ends it. Yeah, she really Kristen Walled it back then, I ain't gonna lie. But yeah, no, took herself out. So you get the sense when you rewatch it, especially when you watch it, a second time or whatever, that he kind of realizes what happened, and it really depresses him. But he spends like that one night with her. But see, at the time, she doesn't know she's dead yet. Like, she still thinks that everything's kind of getting back to normal. But then he's like, I gotta go. I just came back to say goodbye, And it's like, okay, if you're still in the world of the living, how is she accepting this? You know what I mean? Like, because he's even like, the war's over. There's nothing for you to do now. Like, and it just like, he just up and leaves. And then like, they never really try. Like, she don't really. There's no closure there. It's almost like she just like. I mean, did she just think he left him? Like, did he abandon him, or you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Maybe I can make it sense up here, but it's hard for me to convey it out here. It just seems like if this is a straight up movie, like there was no twist. There was, she's alive, the kids are alive. He comes back from the war and is like, I gotta go and bye. It's like, I don't know. I feel like there should have been a bigger fucking explosion there, I guess, I mean, the husband just fucking leaves. I mean, we know now, clearly, that, the ghost, he's a ghost, and, I guess in the supernatural realm, you can only return for a night. I don't know. But, I don't know, I just feel like, the kids should have been a little more upset. Like, the dad leaves, like, after being gone for fucking ever, comes back for one night only, and then just disappears.
Oh, and that one part where that old lady's in the wedding dress. But it's actually the little... Oh,
yeah, that's a crazy scene. I like that, too. Hey, Mom, I am your daughter. Yeah. But yeah, I just thought that was kind of weird. I don't know, I just felt like there should have been more... Like, the kids never talk about Daddy anymore. It's just like, as soon as he abandons them, they don't know they're dead yet, so they don't have no, comprehension of what's going on. It's just like, well, Daddy left. War's been over for fucking ever. He left again, so I don't know. That part always kind of bugged me. Maybe it's just me, but... and like you said, the scene where, Nicole Kidman walks in on her daughter, and it's not a wedding dress, it's like a communion dress. But she,
It's a wedding dress because it had a bell.
I'm gonna punch her in the face, guys.
No,
It's right here.
Punch you in the
oh,
face.
you're so mean. No, she walks in on her, and of course, you just get the sense like the old woman's kind of trying to communicate through. Because I mean, it's that old woman's face, you know. And oh, dude, it's pretty creepy too. That's definitely pretty creepy. So yeah, I mean, there's just a lot of creepy imagery, and once again, it's one of those movies. I think it does kind of reward you with multiple viewings. Because once once the twist is out of the way, you can still go back and watch it, and it doesn't lose it. I mean, it's still a decent movie even with the twist, you know. I mean, because a lot of times movies just kind of they base everything on the twist, and then once you kind of watch, you're like, okay, yeah, that's what the build-up was for. But yeah, a good example of that. And this ain't horror at all, but the movie Duplex. Yeah, I know I should not be referencing this movie, but anyway, it's Ben Stiller. I think it's Drew Barrymore, where they move into the duplex, but there's a old woman who's like their neighbor. And anyways, they get for like a steal, like they get a good deal in the house. The deal, they can't move out, or they can't kick her out of the house. Like she has to die of whatever natural causes or whatever. Long story short, spoiler alert. Like after she makes their life a living hell, they finally sell the house, and then they're like, oh, she died, and they're like, oh, what a, and then you find out it's all a scam. Like, they just keep bringing in new people, ruining their lives, draining their bank accounts, and then they send them on. And, yeah, that's one of those that I will just never have to watch again, because it's just like, but whereas the others, I mean, it's still enjoyable on the third, fourth, fifth, or even sixth viewing, so, I've had this movie for a long time, and I've seen it so many times, it's, insane. It's one of my favorites, so. Alright, well, unless you have anything else to add about the others? Nope. Alright, we'll move right along to Pensione Paura. I was going to write it down, and I was like, I'll remember it. Horror Hotel. I stumbled across this movie, because typically what I do is I always try to change it up. I always try to get a little something different. I don't just try to hit the mainstream. I try to hit a little bit of everything. And came across this Spanish film. From, I believe it's 1977. If I'm wrong, don't crucify me. Anyways, you can find it on YouTube, actually. And, of course, you can just use the title down there. You can just...
on YouTube?
That's where I watched it. Watched it on YouTube.
I thought it was Netflix.
It was not Netflix. Nah, it was YouTube. And it's uncut. And believe me, it's got lots of titties in it. So, and a couple of rape scenes, actually. So, yeah, I mean, it's uncut, so if you're going to watch it, I suggest watching it now before someone catches on and, flags it. The movie basically is, and it's also, set during World War II, which kind of, I didn't mean for that to happen, actually, it just kind of happened that way. Basically, this mother and daughter are running this hotel, and there's another guy who's there. He's kind of like a caretaker, also, just odds and ends servant man. Anyways, they're all there, and the father who was also there, but he goes off to war. And so, times are tough, and so the clientele's come to this hotel. They're all scum. Everybody wants to fuck this little girl. And I mean, when I say little, she's like 16 or 17, maybe a little. I don't know, maybe around that era. Because I mean, they imply that she went to school. They closed the school down because of the war, so she's helping out there full time. But anyways, like right off the bat, like there's a guy who looks just like Antonio Banderas. I'm not gonna lie, this dude is like, it could be his father. I don't know. Looks just like Antonio Banderas, and like, oh dude, he's leechers. Like he is constantly trying to like bang this little girl. There's also another guy there who his wife and son was killed during one of the bombings, and so clearly a lonely guy. But he's also sends out this pervy, skeevy kind of feel. And he's also attracted to this young girl. Also in this hotel, you got this dude, and I thought there was two of them. I don't know where the other guy went to. He must have just been visiting. But then he has like his girlfriend and her sister, and they're both just major whores. And they're constantly just that's like their whole, like they're so one-dimensionally written. That's all it is. Like they bang and that's it. So yeah, that's this, and of course the Antonio Banderas, he has a girlfriend, but yeah, like she can tell like clearly the dude's like wanting to cheat on her or whatnot. And what happens is after you kind of, I'll go ahead and tell you right now, this is not really a horror movie at all. I mean, there are some elements, and I mean I can see why they would classify it under horror. Because I think IMDb actually has like under horror, mystery, and drama. And it's definitely heavy on the drama aspect, because I thought it was going to be more mystery at first. Because what happens is, after about a half hour into this movie, And it really is just kind of like, it's bad melodrama. The mother dies. Like and they never explain she was like killed, because they kind of lead it up like maybe she was murdered, but they never really resolved that. And so, I mean, you can assume, I mean, I'm going to go ahead and go on record right now and say I assume she just slipped and fell and broke her neck because she was at the bottom of the stairs or whatever. But like I said, they never really confirm nor deny it. So she's dead, and what happens is, like, you know, right before she dies, Antonio Banderas makes a pass at the young girl, and of course, you know, the mother catches him. There's also little elements, like they have little scenes for everybody to make it look like it could have been anybody who did it, because I mean, you know, she hasn't paid, you know, the servant dude in like 6 months. Of course, the crazy dude who lost his family, he's constantly going after this young girl. She's also turning down his advancements. So it's like, everybody kind of had a motive, I guess you can say, I mean, in a way. So, I mean, it was one of those things where I was like, okay, we're going to do a murder mystery. And it doesn't. Basically, like, the business carries on as usual. Now this young girl is taking over, which I didn't quite get that, because it's like, and that was the one thing I thought was maybe a little too frightening, was the fact that, like, there's, like, no one to protect her now. And, like, you've already set up the fact that, like, you got, like, at least 2 different guys who clearly, and I mean, this before the rape scene even happened, I was like, they're clearly rapists. Like, either one of them could be rapist. And then you got this other guy who's a complete perv, who's banging these 2 sisters, who also looks like a rapist. Oh, and there's also, I'm sorry, when I was going over the cast here, there was also a guy who, they don't really explain his history too much. But they kind of revealed at the end a little bit. I'm not sure what he told the mother, but there's a guy hiding out in the attic of this hotel. And he, you get the sense that he's escaping from the war for whatever reason. Like, you know, he's a soldier, but anyways, he's banging the mom. So, and I'm just like, okay, this guy clearly could be kind of shady too. So I mean, it's like she's in a hotel for a rapist, and that's it. Like, you would think like maybe she's asleep. The thing is, she keeps holding out hope that her father will return. Like, she's writing him all the time, and you know, he made that promise like, I'll be back. You know, so she's kind of holding out hope there. But I'm just like, wouldn't like a bank step in, or I mean, I know it's wartime, you know, Spain, but it's like at the same time, there's got to be someone else in control here. I mean, when one parent's off at war and the mom dies, you don't just leave the teenage girl in charge of the whole hotel. I mean, this ain't like a bad Disney, you know, sitcom where the kids just control a hotel or some shit. So that part kind of puzzled me, but whatever. I'm letting it go. I'm like, fuck it, I'm in this movie. Sure enough, she ends up getting raped. She gets tricked by Antonio Banderas' wife. Because at first the wife hates him, but then she hates the fact that he's, you know, going after her, and she's super jealous at her. Like, she thinks like she's antagonizing it, but then like out of nowhere she helps him rape her. Weird. And then what happens is what makes it even kind of worse, and you do feel sorry for this girl, is like the other guy who like he's lost his family, he's kind of nuts, and he likes her. Like, he witnesses the rape. Like, he's like on the outside of the room, and he's just like, I'm not going to get out there. The guy who's hiding in the attic, who after the mother dies, he doesn't really give off any kind of skeevy vibes toward the girl, but he's just like, I need your help, you know, you got to take over protecting me up here, like no one can know I'm up here. And you would think like maybe he would maybe go down there and rescue her. No. And they both hear the screams and whatever. No one helps her. Well, that night they are both murdered. You don't see who did it. And I thought he was going to go into a giallo type, you know, thing, and it never really takes off there either. There's a subplot involving Antonio Banderas, who he's trying to get the diamonds from the girl he's trying to marry. Stick with me, I know it's going to be jumping around a lot here. He's trying to get the diamonds, and then what happens is these 2 dudes who come down, and I'm not sure, I mean, they're clearly just like criminals. I'm not sure if they're mob or whatever, but they come in, they all end up killing this other dude. They give the passport to Antonio Banderas, and then they're like, we're going to give you the money, but we need the diamonds first. And that's like a subplot that kind of runs throughout the second half of this movie. Well, what happens is, once Antonio Banderas and his wife get killed, I'm going to keep calling him Antonio Banderas, it's not really Antonio Banderas, but after they both get killed, now they start going after the girl, like thinking like maybe she has something to do with it. Long story short, the father, and I'm going to drop some spoilers here right now, the father's friend from the war comes back. And it's weird because there's a scene where the 2 criminals are chasing the young girl, and they're already telling her, we're going to torture you. They don't really bring up rape. We're going to torture you. But as she's running from him, she gets down to the basement where the servant takes her and throws her into the crazy, or not the crazy guy, the pervy guy with the two sisters, and they all start trying to gang rape her in a way. Like it starts off that way, and then of course the crazy guy that lost his family is also in on this. So it's like the 4 people are going to gang rape her, including the 2 females, and then you got the servant guy just sitting there drinking, watching. And it goes from like I said gang rape, but that's what it was alluding to. But it's like they threw her in this bath instead, and I don't know if they were going to drown her, or I don't know where it was going to go. I mean, I don't know if they were just trying to clean her up before they rape her, or what that deal was. But anyway, the father's friend shows up and wastes everybody. He wastes the bad guys, he wastes everybody down there except for the daughter. You find out that the guy in the attic actually set up her father. Her father's dead, and he made that promise to come back and protect her and kill everybody, that messes with her. However, the twist is the person that killed Antonio Banderas and his wife was actually the girl. She dressed up like her father, killed them both, and then it ends up like killing the father's friend because he wants to take her out there. Now, even after hearing your father died, she's still holding out hope that he's going to show back up because that promise he made. So she just fucking went crazy, and she's in an empty hotel at the end of the movie. And then that's just how it ends. She goes back in there, and she's still writing her father letters, even though he's now deceased. It was an interesting watch, I won't lie. Once again, about the halfway mark, maybe even a little less than that, you realize there's no horror in this. Like, it's literally, and nothing wrong, the music's awesome. Like, I love that it had like that, it had like an Argento feel to it, like the Goblins type feel. I like the music to this. It just had like, that awesome Euro horror feel. But like I said, and some of the lighting really harkened to Argento, like a lot of reds and blue lights and shit. But then but it wasn't like straight up. So like you'd be a scene, you'd be walking down a hallway, and there'd be like one scene where it's just like bright red. They're walking right through it. But then regular hallway. So like I said, there was elements of horror in it, but overall it wasn't. So once again, I'll always stick through a movie. But I knew right off the bat, or I guess about midway through that, it's not gonna get too much better. And it really was. It wasn't great. I would recommend it if you're a fan of Spanish horror films from the 70s. Other than that, there ain't a whole lot more I can recommend. I'm sure I haven't. That's the thing. I haven't watched a whole lot of Italian, Spanish horror, Euro horror, foreign language Euro horror films. So it's hard for me to really, there's I've only seen a handful, and I wasn't huge on some of my scene. So yeah, I would recommend it if it sounds like something you'd be into. For me personally, I don't know. It wasn't. It wasn't horrible, but at the same time, I will probably never watch this movie again. It definitely has no rewatch value in my opinion. So there you go. The Others, huge thumbs up. Really great movie. Like I said, one of my personal favorites. Check it out. And then as far as and I'm probably butchering this name. So to all my Spanish fans out there, I am sorry. Tenzora or Tenzorn, fuck it. It's written right down there. And I'm going to keep calling it that because that's the version I found. Like, I had to look up on IMDb later on and found out it was also called Horror Hotel. But to me, it's the first one that comes to me. That's what I'm going to call it. So I'm calling it that. So, alright. So, on behalf of Maya and the movie Phantom and